Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Just a Word. This is Kazakh Aliyahu Yasharal here, and we are on another video. Today, we are going to be looking at an interesting topic. The question, are mixed race marriages acceptable today according to the Hebrew scriptures? And as usual, we're going to begin with a question. Now, someone emailed me and he made this statement. He said, I have an Edomite wife before I came in the truth, and she is fine with it. The problem here is some people in the truth are not welcoming to someone like me. So far, only you and GOCC seems welcoming in my search, looking for a home for me and my family. So, is this so? Does the Hebrew scriptures and Just a Word condone mixed race marriages? Do we support mixed race marriages? Okay, so that is what we are going to be looking at today. So, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So we begin with the Torah, where it all originated. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their mighty ones, and do sacrifice unto their mighty ones, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice, and thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their mighty ones, and make thy sons go a whoring after their mighty ones, their gods. So that's where it all began in the Torah. Now, an important thing to ascertain is that the lineage in the scripture is according to the fathers. So when we go to Numbers 1, verse 2 and verse 18, it tells us, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Yasharal, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the numbers of their names, the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, and all that are able to go to war in Yasharal, thou and Aaron shall number them by their numbers. So the lineage is by the house of their fathers, as is confirmed in Numbers 1, verse 18. Again, it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. So their lineage is by the house of their fathers. So we are starting out with scriptures that seem to support the mixed marriages. So it is also a fact that Rehoboam's mother was an Ammonitess, and Rehoboam, we know, was a king that succeeded Shulamah, or Solomon, that's Solomon's son. 1 Kings 14, verse 21. And Rehoboam, the son of Shulamah, or Solomon, reigned in Yehudah. Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city in which Yahuwah did choose out of all the tribes of Yasharal, and put his name there. And his mother's name was Neamah, an Ammonitess. So she was an Ammonitess. All right? So she was not an Israelite. But we are going to see about, again, the implication of Solomon's marriages with these women. So let's go straight to it with Rehoboam, whose mother was an Ammonitess. Let's go to Nehemiah 13, verses 26 to 27. Start at verse 25. And this is Nehemiah speaking. When they separated themselves from the strange women that were not Israelites. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by Allah, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons for yourselves. Now this was after the time of Solomon, long after. All right? Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons for yourselves. This is what we read in Exodus 34. Now Nehemiah said in the very next verse, remember, Rehoboam that we just read, whose mother was an Ammonitess, he was a son of Shulamith. Did not Solomon, king of Yasharal, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his Allah. And Allah made him king over all Yasharal. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our Allah in marrying strange wives? Notice the words carefully. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil? He calls it a great evil. Yeah? To transgress against the Most High. So he tells us that we are transgressing against the Most High in marrying strange wives. Okay? So, again, we will say, what about Ruth? Ruth married Boaz. And out of her came David. And the Messiah Yahusha told us how all these things operated, because we love to go to the Old Testament to get reinforcement for us today not understanding and being able to rightly divide the word of truth. For example, in the Old Testament, it spoke about divorce and putting away. In the New Testament, Hamashiach said, no, it is not so. But out of the hardness of your heart, it was permitted. So these things that happened in the Old Testament was because it was an old covenant, a carnal covenant, and the Most High permitted some things because of the hardness of Yasharal's heart. So in Matthew 19, verse 7 to 9, Hamashiach told us and gave us an example and an understanding of what happened. Some of the things in the Old Testament transgressed Torah, but it was the permissive will of the Most High because of the hardness of their heart, and he knew that the covenant was to come, that was to be in perfection. Matthew 19:7. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and put her away? Because in the previous verse, Hamashiach said, Wherefore they are no more twain but one flesh. What therefore Allah hath joined together, let no man put asunder. So in the Old Testament, it was provided for bill of divorcement and putting away. Hamashiach said, no, it is not so. So then they ask him in verse 7, they say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. It's the same thing with mixed marriages. From the beginning, the Most High told them, do not give your sons to their daughters. Do not give your sons to their daughters and their daughters to their sons, in effect. All right? But after that, they came and they married strange wives. All right? But in the beginning, it was not so. So the whole point we're making here, you have to put the covenants in perspective, because we have to see now what is coming in the new covenant, which will affect mixed marriages. All right? It was permitted because of the hardness of our hearts. So some will also say that many of us were of mixed marriages. But in Acts 17, 29 to 30, it tells us, For as much then as we are the offspring of Allah, we're going to look at a principle here. For as much then as we are the offspring of Allah, we ought not to think that the Almighty is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's devices. And here comes the principle. And the times of this ignorance Alua winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent. So because something is wrong and it was done in ignorance and beyond our control, it does not mean now that when we come into knowledge, we are to continue doing it. Okay? Likewise, many of us worship JC in Christianity. Now we have come to the knowledge of the truth. That does not mean that now it is righteous to worship JC. Yahuwah will wink at our ignorance, but when we come to the truth, he commands every man everywhere to repent. All right? So when we come into Hamashiach now, we become new creations. And 2 Corinthians 5:17 tells us, therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And all things are of Alua. So when you come into Hamashiach, you have to come now in straight obedience to the Most High. You have to transcend the hardness of the heart that the Israelites went through with Moses and go right back to the law itself. And all things are of Alua, who hath reconciled us to himself by Yahushua HaMashiach, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation, which means that he has used Hamashiach to reconcile us back to himself so that we now are walking in obedience to him, in obedience to his Torah. Yeah? To wit, that Alua was in Hamashiach, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing our trespasses unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation. So, the trespasses that we had, yes? He winks at it and he pushes it behind and is reconciling us to now walk in obedience to him through obedience to Hamashiach. And we have to understand again that we were partially blinded, which is why many of us were born in mixed marriages. We were partially blinded. Romans 11:25, for I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Yasharal until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. So many of us were born of mixed marriages because we were blinded. The Most High does not count this blindness to us when we come into the truth. But he does not expect us now to continue going back into the former errors. So when we wake up now, for example, and we read passages like we read before in the book of Ezra. No, we're going to read in the book of Ezra. We read in the book of Nehemiah when he says it is a sinning against Yahuwah by marrying strange wives. When that happens, then we now come into the truth. And when you come into the truth, you cannot go back into error, because Hebrews 10:26 says, for if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. So there is no more sacrifice for sins, which means there will be no forgiveness for the sins we commit after we have come into the knowledge of the truth. So let's go back in the book of Ezra 9:1-15, when the children of Yasharal read the law and realized, because this is what we say, that we were blinded and the Most High allowed certain things to happen. But when we come into the knowledge of the truth, we have to wake up. So we're going to give an example now of when our people were in blindness and then they came into knowledge of the truth. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, the people of Yasharal, that means the entire nation, and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken off their daughters for themselves and for their sons. so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hand of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass. And of course, again, among our people, nothing has changed. If you go today and you look at those among our people who have mingled with strange women, these are usually the politicians, the leaders, the movie stars, the sportsmen, all of the people in high places mingle themselves with the people of the land. And when I heard this thing, I rent my garment and my mantle and plucked off the hair of my head and of my beard and sat down astonished. Yeah? It's so serious. It is. Then were assembled unto me everyone that trembled at the words of the Elohim of Yasharal, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away, and I sat astonished until the evening sacrifice. So those who tremble at the word of Allah will respond accordingly and separate themselves from this strange woman. And at the evening sacrifice, I arose up from my heaviness, and having rent my garment and my mantle, I fell upon my knees and spread out my hands unto Yahuwah, my Allah, and said, O my Allah, I am ashamed and blush to lift up my face to thee, my Allah, for our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the heavens. Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day. See, this thing we got from our fathers. So because our fathers did it, we are not to follow our fathers. Even in our group, we pray against the sins of our fathers and remember the sins of our fathers, that we do not commit their same trespass. It says, since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day, and for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to a spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is today. So for all these things, the Most High might have permitted it and looked as if he ignored it, but for these things he also sent us into captivity. And now for a little space, favor hath been showed from Yahuwah our Allah, to leave us a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our Allah may lighten our eyes and give us a little reviving in our bondage. Isn't this the same position that we are in today, people? We are coming out of our captivity, looking to go into the second Exodus. He has left us a remnant to escape. And even thus, over here, we are seeking to escape out of Babylon. All right? Verse 9. For we were bondmen, yet our Elohim hath not forsaken us in our bondage, but hath extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our Allah, and to repair the desolations thereof, and to give us a wall in Yehuda and in Jerusalem. This is also the promise that we are given, that we will be taken to restore the desolate places. And now, our Allah, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments, which thou hast commanded by thy servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which had filled it from one end to another with their uncleanness. Now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace nor their wealth forever. And here's the reason: that ye may be strong, and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. So how can we, with our mixed marriages, hope to enter into the land and prosper in the land? And after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds and for a great trespass, seeing that thou, our Allah, hast punished us less than our iniquities deserve, and hast given us such deliverance as this, should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldest not thou be angry with us till thou hast consumed us, so that there be no remnant nor escaping? It should be very plain right here, especially for us, in where we are in this covenant right now, when we are seeking now to go into the land. This is speaking to us. Should we again break thy commandments and join in affinity with the people of these abominations? Wouldest not thou be angry with us till thou hast consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping? We are seeking to escape. O Yahuwah, Aluah of Yasharal, thou art righteous, for we remain yet escaped, as it is this day. Behold, we are before thee in our trespass, for we cannot stand before thee because of this. We cannot stand before thee because of what? Because we are having mixed marriages. Oh, I found the verse that has to do with the law. Nehemiah 3 verse 3. Nehemiah and Ezra were around at the same time, giving account of the same situation. Nehemiah 13 verse 3, he said, Now it came to pass when they had heard the law, that they separated from Yasharal all the mixed multitude. When they had heard the law. Yes? They did not go and watch the transgression that Solomon did and take it as law and say, okay, we can do it. No, when they heard the law, then they undid the sin that Solomon did. Yeah? All right. So let's go again to Nehemiah 13, verse 23 to 27. Gives us more insights. Again. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by Aluah, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon king of Yasharal sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of Aluah, and Aluah made him king over all Yasharal. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. So, even though Solomon did this sin, the Most High still prospered him as king. That does not mean that it is okay with the Most High. All right? So we have to remember the position of the stranger in this new covenant, New Testament. And we go to Romans 11, verse 17 to 21. Of course, you know we got to go deeper than how we go to get more insights, as usual, from these videos. Romans 11, the stranger is supposed to be grafted in among the children of Yasharal. And we have to understand what graft in actually means. Let me switch this back. Yeah. So we have to understand what grafting actually means. Romans 11:17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, wert graft in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches. But if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Now this tells us plainly right here, figuratively, that the strangers cannot become Yasharal. Let's go. Some of the branches are broken off. So some of the Yasharal are broken off. And the strangers from a wild olive tree, which means a totally different tree, were grafted in among those branches. All right? And with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, which is the root and fatness of the olive tree, which is Yasharal, and the root of the olive tree is Hamashiach. So you partake with them. But it says, boast not against the branches, which means you will forever remain separate from the branches. So don't boast against the branches. But if thou boast, so bearest not the root, but the root thee. And it went on further to tell you that if you boast, you will be cut off again. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by Emunah, Be not high-minded, but fear. For if Allah spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. So they were grafted in, given a chance to hang on to the house of Yasharal, but they were not given a chance to marry Yasharal, as we are going to see later, with precept upon precept, line upon line. So out of the land of Mitzrayim, there came a mixed multitude. Shemoth 12, verse 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. So the children of Israel went up, but it says, and a mixed multitude went up also with them. So the mixed multitude is separate from the children of Yasharal. And here is a problem now that we have to understand with mixed marriages. With mixed marriages, the Most High had made us, and he called us his holy seed. There is a set apart nation that is holy, and there is one. The rest of the world is unholy. He has a seed that he created for himself that is a pure seed. Now, whenever the unholy seed mixes with the holy seed, contamination. Numbers 11, verse 4. Always the heathen that are corrupting his children. Numbers 11, verse 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Yasharal also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? So in the wilderness, it was the mixed multitude that helped to weaken the children of Yasharal, to let them transgress against the Most High. So, in Deuteronomy 29:10, we're looking at these same people to get an understanding. In Deuteronomy 29:10 to 15, it tells us that these people did not mix at all with the children of Yasharal, but they were the servants of the children of Yasharal. 29 and 10. So before Moses went into the land, he was now speaking to the people before they entered the promised land. Ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahuwah your Allah, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Yasharal. So here is the order of everyone who went into the land. You have the captains of the tribes at the top. Then you have the elders who came after. Then you have the officers. Then you have all the men of Yasharal. Then you have your little ones. Then you have your wives. And thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water. So, clear separation there. And this we have to understand, because it is the same thing that's going to happen with us going into the land again. Because after the second Exodus, it is the same thing that's going to happen. The strangers shall be the servants of the children of Yasharal. So you have your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp. That means the stranger will never ever be one with the children of Yasharal in the camp. So, let's look at it from another angle as well. From the angle of inheritance. Jeremiah 3, verse 18. Because there are many ways to look at this. Many ways. Jeremiah 3, verse 18. So this brings us to when Apostle Shaul says, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. Not because something is permitted, that does not mean it is right. Yes? Just like polygamy today. Brothers out there are saying, oh, there's nothing in the law about polygamy. But with the New Testament, you cannot have polygamy, because New Testament is about taming the flesh and rising in the ruach. And if you continue to have these different people that you're having sex with over and over, your flesh cannot be tamed. So not all things that you see being done in the scriptures are expedient for us in the New Testament. Jeremiah 3, verse 18. In those days, the house of Yahudah shall walk with the house of Yasharal, and they shall come together out of the land of the north, to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. The land is given for an inheritance unto your fathers. All right? So, Ezekiel 47, he spoke about the inheritance in verse 13. Thus saith Yahuwah Eluah, this shall be the border whereby ye shall inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Yasharal. Yosef shall have 2 portions. So the land is for the children of Yasharal. And ye shall inherit it, one as well as another, concerning the which I lifted up mine hand to give it unto your fathers, and this land shall fall unto you for inheritance. Now, because of the mercy of the Most High, he's going to give some inheritance to the Gentiles. But we're going to see the inheritance that he gives to the Gentiles. Ezekiel 47 verse 22 to 21 to 23, sorry. So shall he divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Yasharal. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, the children of Yasharal, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharal. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Yasharal. Wow. But hear this. We have to understand what this is saying. To the strangers that sojourn among you. It's not the strangers that join with you and marry you and become one with you. It's the strangers that sojourn. To sojourn there means to rest, to dwell, etc. among you. Which shall beget children among you. These children that they beget are children among themselves, because we're going to look in Torah and show that it has to be among themselves. And they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharal. That does not mean that you become one with them and mix with them, as we're going to see. One law is going to destroy all of that notion. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Yasharal. So let's go to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. And so for us to get an understanding of Ezekiel 47, 21 to 23, we have to go to the Torah, to the book of Vayikra, Leviticus 25, 44. All right? They are to have children among you. So are those children the children of Yasharal? Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, remember, it is prophesied in the end, and we're going to look at the scriptures, that the strangers shall be our bondmen and our bondmaids. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Yes? Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. Let me go over this carefully. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land. Remember in Ezekiel it says that shall have children among you. These children are the children that they have among themselves. It's not us intermingling and intermarrying with them and have children with them. And they shall be your possession. So let's go back to Ezekiel 47 verse 22. And it shall come to pass that you shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and to the strangers that sojourn among you. Remember it says, the children of the strangers that sojourn among you shall buy them, and they shall be your possession. And they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharal. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Yasharal. So this does not mean that you intermingle with them, because further down we're going to see that these children are those who are going to be the servants of Yasharal. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Yasharal, ye shall not rule over one another with rigor. So if, for example, I have a child with a stranger, with someone from another nation, that child is, by law, is my slave. How can I have a child that is my slave, that I should rule over forever? Yeah? The children of Yasharal must not be your slaves, your servant. And if it is my child, by the lineage of the father, he will become an Israelite. So right now we have a conflict, and Yahuwah is not the author or the causer of confusion. So, all right? So we don't go across the line. We don't cross overboard. The book of Tobit, chapter 4, 12 to 13. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. So it's even more direct. If you know that you're from Yehudah, you take a woman from the tribe of Yehudah. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were barak in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. There we go again, the connection between keeping your seed pure and inheriting the land. So we are the holy seed, the Kadosh seed, the set apart seed, descendants of Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And from the beginning, they all married wives. The fact that Solomon went away and did all of that, that does not give us reason to go back, because remember we said Yahuwah was in Yahusha, reconciling the world unto himself. When we come back to Hamashiach, we come back to all righteousness, because Hamashiach said in Matthew 5:48, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So, when it comes to the Edomites now, how does that go? Edomites, Revelation 13, verse 10. Remember, we're all about the truth. All about the truth. Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the emunah, or faith of the saints. So who led us into captivity? Edom led us into captivity, so they have to volunteer. They have to go into captivity. Go into captivity means lead themselves into captivity. So if we marry an Edomite, how does that work out? That is confusion. Because my wife would now be someone who is going to be my slave, my servant. That doesn't work. Yahuwah is not the author of confusion. So, Isaiah 14, 1-2. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Yasharal, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yasharal. Strangers shall be joined and cleave to them. But let's see the relationship that the strangers will have with the children of Yasharal. And the people, that is the children of Yasharal, shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Yasharal shall possess them in the land of Yahuwah for servants and handmaids. It did not say he's going to possess them for wives. They're going to be servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Because the Most High says he's going to recompense their way onto their head. They brought us into captivity, they must go into captivity. All right? So they are captives. They are not our equal in the kingdom. They will be captives because they have to be recompensed in the 1,000-year reign. The reason for the 1,000-year reign is for the payback for the transatlantic slave trade and for what they have done for us to us over the hundreds of years. So they will be recompensed. The same thing that they did to us, it's the same thing that's going to be done to them. They will not be our wives. Cannot be our wives. And Amos 9:11 to 12. This one caps it off. Amos 9:11 to 12. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. This day now is our time. This is why we are here. We are here looking for the day when the tabernacle of David is restored through Yahushua HaMashiach. This is our time that it's talking about now. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. So our relationship with Edom in the end is to possess them. Not to be their wives, or for the woman to be their husband. It is for us to possess them. We're going to look at the meaning of possess. That they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahuwah that doeth this. So all the other nations who are not Yasharal, who we are married to, they will be servants. It is an unrighteous thing to be thinking that we are going to enter into the land in mixed marriages, because that would cause confusion on the Most High's ways. And notice in the book of Tobit, it says that they shall inherit the land. And it said was it in Ezra? And they inherited the land. Inheriting the land is directly proportional to us not having strange wives. And I think in the book of Tobit, it called it an evil thing to reject the children of our people. Because think about it. The children of Zion, the daughters of Zion. Tobit 4 verse 13. The daughters of Zion are not short. We despise the daughters of Zion. And the women despise the men of Zion when you go to another race and take them for your people. Tobit 4:13. Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want, for lewdness is the mother of famine. So it says, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, love your people, and do not despise in your heart your people, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them. You despise them when you reject them and do not take a wife of them. Anyway, let's go back to the book of Amos 9 verse 12. It says, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. And this is how we're going to end it. What does the word possess there mean? The meaning of possess there is the Hebrew word yaresh, which means a primitive root, to occupy, be driving out previous tenants. That doesn't sound like love and a relationship to me. And possessing in their place. That doesn't sound like a relationship to me. By implication, to seize, to rob, to inherit. That doesn't sound like a relationship to me. Also to expel. Goes without saying. To impoverish. To ruin. To cast out. To consume. To destroy, to disinherit, to dispossess, to drive. Does that sound like love and a relationship? Driving out. One thing here, enjoy. Because you're going to enjoy, not enjoy in marriage, you're going to enjoy getting back the revenge on these people. That's what enjoy there means. Expel, without, fail, give to leave, for inheritance. No, give to, leave for inheritance, or magistrate. B, make poor. Does that sound like a wife or relationship? No. Come to poverty. Give to, make to possess, get, have in possession, take in possession, seize upon, succeed utterly. This speaks about totally deposing a people who were there before. It speaks about an order that was there before, and now you are now seizing upon the order which brings forth, brings to fruition, 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Edom is the end of this age, and the age to come, Jacob, us, our people, the worst, least in the earth, the scum of the earth according to Edom, we are going to now possess, seize, grab everything, and the order is going to be reversed. And we who were at the foot are not going to be the head, we who were the tail rather are now going to be the head. All right? There is no provision here for mixed marriages. All right? So, only hope that puts it to light. Our policy here, as it says, that the strangers shall be joined to them. So, just a word. Following the word to the T, we have strangers among us. We don't discriminate against strangers who are among us, because the prophecy is that they will be among us and they will take hold of us going into the land. All right? But we draw the line when it comes to mixed marriages. No mixing here. No blending. Each people stays with their people, as the scriptures say, because we live and we die by the truth, the word of truth. All right? So that statement that our brother made, that just the word will accept him and his Edomite wife, that is not so. Just want to make that clear and to make the truth of scripture known, that the strangers will join themselves to Yasharal, but the strangers will procreate among themselves, and our people procreate among ourselves, the holy seed. All right? So, only hope that helped someone. This is Kazak Eliyahu Yasharal here. Please like, share, subscribe, comment on this video, please, and share. I say share twice, all right? So that the word may go out. So until next time, shalom.